Hello and welcome again to Forgotten Temples of Cambodia. We are in the Angkor Wat complex, but oddly enough, although this temple is a mighty one for our collection, it certainly is. In fact, the mightiest we've seen. Weirdly enough, not that many tourists come here, so it does just about sneak in to our category of forgotten temples, which basically means temples that people don't really go to, and the ones that are truly forgotten, of course. And what's the first thing we notice here? We have something very interesting. This pillar here has newly fallen over. There was a large tree over here, I'm very well informed. Someone told me that I trust, and it fell over. And if we look to the root here of this tree, I'll just dash over so you know what I'm talking about. Is you see this damage here on that root? That's where the tree fell. Now, as it fell, it knocked over this. So even, in modern times, these temples are deteriorating. But what we see is these holes. You tell me. I would love to know. There's no way those holes married with nipples or something to secure it, because it doesn't make sense. So why these holes are here, I ask your opinion. But less of that, more of this. Have a look at this. It's a root. And as we look upwards, we can see as to who it belongs to. Now, these are the things I can't do when I'm shooting by myself, because you can't see the enormity of things. But isn't this impressive? And that's not all. As I clamber over the blocks, we have a really impressive moat on this one, which is big. We see the doorway here, and if we ask our beautifully oiled and rippling cameraman to just pan round here, and we see that this entranceway is blocked. To give you a perspective, let me dash in, and we get, oh gosh, there's bats. We're seeing the bats are starting to muster their days, and it's large, isn't it? But let's have a look at that moat before we go inside, because inside there are fantastic intricate carvings. And here you can see that moat. Now this is big. I'm going to dash down again to give you perspective. It's big. Right, inside now, and what we see, as we often see, are these lovely ladies. They're called devtas or devatas, however you wish to pronounce them. And as you can see, she's rather resplendent. Now, she wasn't a royal. She was in fact a member of the court, as far as I understand. And we can see here she would have had nice, what was probably gold, because the Khmers did have gold, and had quite a lot of it. The gold thing here with the lovely dress and the rest of it, shall we say. But I'm sure she was a lovely lady. And what we've noticed here in this corner is a mistake, an error by the ancient warriors. Because what we have is this lovely solid stone, the expensive stuff that's difficult to work with. And then we have this stuff, the, let's say, grade B sort of stone. And what I believe they did was they built these big, if we scan up here, they built these huge doorways. Now, to take that load, that an enormous amount of weight, it would appear to me, purely from an engineering point of view, that they've used this heavy stone. Look here, you can't get a razor blade between these. And then notice how it comes down and comes down. So this would take the weight. And then you get your grade B stone and use it in the other areas. But they made an error, because what we see, and if we follow this line along here, what we notice is here they made a correction, because look, this is one line and it matches here and here, but then it changes, and we can actually see there is some detail which is the same pattern as here, and they've had to cut this off to correct their error. Now somebody, I can only imagine, about 1,000 years ago got in an awful lot of trouble and went home very red-faced that day. And as you can see, it really is quite a size. It is enormous, this one, and hugely impressive to boot. Well, that's it. It's a particularly large one, this one, and as you can probably tell by the failing light, it has been a long day templing. We've captured quite a few today. Quite a few have gone into our bag, but I won't spend too long on this one, purely because it's on the border. It's not really that forgotten, but let's commit it to the library. I hope you've enjoyed this rather speedy trip round, and it may have whetted your thirst to say, do you know what, maybe I fancy a big one, therefore this one's for you.